really just wanted to quickly say thank you all for joining us today. This is going to be a short meeting, but we wanted to kind of get you all up to speed with kind of where we are and what to expect next. I know that Guidehouse has a few slides that they are going to share. I just kind of wanted to, I know we canceled the last couple of meetings. There were a few reasons for that. One, whoever knew that once we did one Appendix K, we would have, in addition to all the modifications we've done to that, we would have two natural disasters. So, we were focused on flooding efforts. We have been focused on getting the spending plan approved, submitted. We're still waiting on that final approval and all the activities around that, as well as just unfortunately, we have certain procurement rules we have to go by. Our original contract with Guidehouse ended at the end of June, and we had to go through all of the steps that I know you all have heard me before. I don't look good in orange, keep me out of procurement jail kind of spiel, but we had to go through all of those natural steps that we have to go through when that happens, but are happy to have Guidehouse back under signed contract with us now to move forward. In the absence of Guidehouse working on particularly these activities, we have been still pulling data. We've been looking at previous claims data during the public health emergency, and also looking at the Appendix K, the rate increases through Appendix K, looking at expenditures, looking at what providers have taken advantage of it for what period of time. So work has not been completely stopped. There has been some activities that have been going on, and we're excited to really kick this back off and get everything officially going again. So with that, Liz, I'll turn it over to you if you want to go through the couple of slides that we have.
Great. Let me know when you all can see my screen.
I can see it.
Great. So we're definitely excited to be picking these meetings back up. Welcome all this morning. Thank you for joining us again on a Monday morning early. We have appreciated and continue to appreciate you all showing up and being here for these discussions. So we're just going to walk through a couple of things, just kind of refresh ourselves, remind us why we're here, talk about some service category breakouts, talk about what we've done so far and what is left to do. So as a quick reminder, why are we here as this stakeholder work group? I know you all know this and are familiar, but just to kind of reorient ourselves to this rate study. DMS has contracted with us here at Guidehouse to provide rate recommendations for HCBS rates across all waivers. And in order to do that, DMS must develop a really sound payment and rate setting methodology. That methodology must ultimately be approved by CMS in order to go into effect. And so we are convening this work group so that you all can provide your subject matter expertise and offer feedback, offer guidance as we develop this methodology. We know there's a lot of nuance, a lot of detail in this rate study, and you all are the ones that are really in it. You're there experiencing this day to day, and so your feedback is extremely valuable in terms of developing these rates. And we really want to make sure that the rates that we develop are consistent with the efficiency, accessibility, and quality of care standards that are required by CMS so that the rates ultimately get approved. And then just as a reminder, after this call, we do anticipate monthly meetings, and we will be doing some breakout group meetings as well. So what are those breakout group meetings? We are planning to hold, and I know we spoke about this a bit in May and June, but we are planning to hold breakout working sessions to really target feedback from specific service types. This will help us understand additional needs of specific provider types, because of course, not all provider types or service types have the exact same needs. And of course, it will also increase our transparency, because we'll be able to get into the nitty-gritty details, and we'll be able to go through all of that with you, so that you all have a really, really great understanding of what exactly is going into the rate calculations for your specific service type. We do anticipate holding these working sessions for some service types, not necessarily all, particularly ones where there's additional nuance on top of the rates that we're talking about as a larger group. So this might be services like case management, residential, day services. But of course, if other breakout sessions are needed, we will definitely host those as well. And then this slide just serves as a reminder of what accomplishments we have had to date. So of course, we've developed and released the provider survey, collected and validated all of the provider surveys. And that was very hugely helpful to you all. You all provided a ton of feedback and also really encouraged your peers to take the survey, which led to a really, really great response rate. We've also reviewed a lot of public data sources like BLS and MEPS. We've developed an inflation methodology that we've gone over as a group. We've completed a wage analysis and a benefits analysis as well, that we've also gone over as a group. So with all of that completed, what will come next? We're going to start out by reviewing newly available data for any completed analysis, in case there is anything like new inflation data that might help us really refine the methodology that we've already discussed. And of course, that will be discussed again if there is newly available data. Then we're going to continue with model development for the remaining cost components. So many of these are the cost components for indirect care, but we will definitely be going over these in detail, reminding you all how these cost components fit into the larger rate calculation, and spending a lot of time on it. And that's really where the breakout groups will come into play as well. And then using all of those analyses, we will then complete the rate modeling, calculate fiscal impact, and then of course, based on all of that, finalize rate recommendations. Throughout that entire time, we will be reviewing each of these components with you all as our stakeholder work group, obtaining feedback, and it will be a very iterative process where we hear feedback from you, make adjustments as needed, and continue moving forward. And I think that's it for our slides. Pam, anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the breakout, kind of the breakout sessions. So this is where I want some feedback from you all, and you can, I want you to take time and to think about it. But Kelly, if you'll post the email address in the chat, just because I know I will get it wrong if I say it off the top of my head. Oh, it's right there on the slide. Hey, I didn't even read the slide. If you all will use that email and send us a couple things. One, if there's any particular service that you think is important for us to look at outside of the ones that we specifically named, knowing that we are, that there are others that we know we probably want to consider, but I want to hear from you all which ones you think would be particularly valuable to look at. Second thing is, I would like to know if you all have any recommendations of people that you think would want to join those groups. We also are going to send out something kind of similar to what we did with the other work groups, for people to express their interest, or provide recommendations. But we want everyone to understand that there will be some time commitment. because these meetings are going to be important to attend just because they are going to be working sessions. And we also want to make sure we represent a broad range of our providers. So we want to, have the mom and pop or the smaller agencies, and we also want to have the large agencies that have, multiple offices. So we want to really have a good cross section of staff that represent our provider populations, as well as we want to make sure we include individuals that that support all types of the waivers. So we want to make sure there's not any waiver that's left out, that there's representation for those individuals as well. So I just would like for y'all to think about that and to email us and let us know some ideas that you have or anything that you feel strongly about. And then we will go from there. I'm so excited to get started on this again and to have Guidehouse officially back with us and just to see where we go from here. But I think that it is going to be good. It's much needed, and excited for you all to continue to participate. So thank you for joining us this morning. Yes, Amy, we in addition to all of the waivers have went through public comments or in the process of public comments or will be coming up for public comment. All of our waivers, it seemed like they just hit boom, boom, boom like dominoes for their renewals. But yes, we will look at public comment responses for all of the waivers for any information that pertain to rates, limits, units, that type of information, because as part of, even if it's not completely part of the rate study, at the same time, we're also going to be modifying regulations because we'll have to do that to put the new rates in there. So yes, all of that information will be taken into account. Anybody else got anything? I know we've given you all kind of a lot to think about, and I gave you that small but very important assignment. So I don't want to take up anybody's valuable time, especially on a Monday. If you think of something after the meeting, reach out to me, send an email to that box, and we will make sure to get back with you. And then we also will look forward to setting up those meetings as well as our recurring this larger meeting. And like the other meetings, full transparency, again, we're gonna share the information. It'll be available for people to review. We'll continue to record the sessions and post those because we feel like that is important. Right, I think if we don't have anything else, then we can close the call for today. Thank you so much for spending Monday with us. And I guess I'll add one more thing to your email that you're going to send us. Date and times for this meeting, if it would suit, if Mondays are going to continue to work, we can absolutely go with that, but just want to make sure it's been a while since we've talked about that. Things can change. So if there is a date and time that is better, we will try to accommodate whatever is going to work for the largest amount of the group. So thank you, everybody. Have a great Monday.